All right, there we go. Okay, everyone, thanks so much for coming. We're really excited to organize our first demo day. We've been wanting to do this for a while, and this is our first try. So we're really excited about showcasing our students' work. You know, you guys put in a lot of work. We know it can be hard sometimes. So it's really exciting to be able to, see the results of everything that you work on in class. This is our first one, so it's kind of like a pocket demo day. So it's going to be very casual, very informal. As you've already seen, we've done troubleshooting in front of you, so there's nothing to hide. We have 3 great student projects to show you today. And without further ado, let's get started. So these students come from the January and the March XR Project Accelerator courses. All right, so we're going to start off with an intro from Jerry Medeiros, who was the course instructor, who's our awesome head of education. And then we're going to go straight into the student projects. So I'm first going to present the student, show a little video clip that summarizes their project, and then they'll share their screen to talk a little bit more about the process and everything. And then we'll do a small Q&A right after each student. And then after everybody is done, we'll go to post-presentation discussion at the end where everybody can ask more questions and just do some mingling. Oh, did anybody bring coffee or wine or anything like that?
I have my coffee.
Okay, I have my juice. You can feel free to keep your video on or off, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, good.
I think it's 7 o'clock for you.
I think everybody's just hydrating. Yes, Indica, grab your wine. That's true. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hand it off to Jerry. As everybody might already know, Jerry is our head of education. He has over 10 years of experience with Unity in the industry. He's a Unity certified expert programmer and instructor, and a game and XR developer, and awesome guy all around. So Jerry, take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. So I'm really excited about this. Very first time that we're doing it. It's been like an idea that we have for a long time, and we just didn't have like the energy and the time to make it. So first, thanks Luciana for putting this together. This is gonna be our first trial, so we might adjust it as we go. But it's really cool to have the opportunity to see what our students can accomplish. And for you guys that are just joining the 10 weeks course, like the first week now, you can see how far you guys can get with dedication and practice. So for you guys that don't know what the accelerator course is, I think I would like to talk a little bit about it first. This is like a natural path for everyone that completed one of our short courses. This course is a little bit different, is more about your project and techniques than like advanced techniques than just like basic concepts in Unity. So we try to give the students all of the tools, like the newest things that Unity is putting together for them to accelerate their projects. They have not only 1, but 2 hours with the instructor for a week. So it's really focused on the project. And that's why they can do like they can really come with a project that they have in mind and do that from scratch. Or some people already have their projects and they want to polish that or improve performance or publish that to different stores. So the idea behind this is really to have a product in the end. This course is super fun. Like, we have a lot of interesting discussions and questions. We find lots of different problems because you use like the new technology in Unity, and sometimes they are really like in the beginning trivial. So we go over not only the tools, but also like aspects of troubleshooting, how we can like scale and think a project ahead and project for adding more features in the future. So yeah, it's super cool, all about the projects. I'm really excited to see what the guys are showing today. Really proud of Pierre, Susan, and Doug. It's super hard to show project, like even we never think our project's good enough. This is gonna be a constant in everyone's life. Like we are never satisfied with what we have, but that's the only way to grow, like, and to improve. If we never show what we have, if we never get feedback, we never improve. So after they present, I really want to hear applause for them, because this is not easy. So get where they are is like a lot of hard work, dedication, and also courage to show. Because I know there are lots of other projects out there, like you guys have been working on other things, but not everyone is like just comfortable. Let me show here what I'm doing in front of, I don't know, like 24 people. So yeah, this shows that they really are caring about the quality of the project that they're building, and they want to go further. So I think that will be it on my end. Let's see the project and appreciate them.
Yes, thanks so much, Jerry. Let's get things started. And now the student projects. Oh, just admitting one more person here. All right, so starting with Doug Vitarelli. So Doug created Philby, an XR app for time travelers. So let's take a quick look. Can you guys hear the sound? Okay, just testing it out. All right.
Here I am in Harlem, and I'm sightseeing, and I want to see what Harlem used to look like. So I press the Philby app, and I'm going to go to United States. I'm going to look at New York, and I'm going to tour Lenox Avenue. And I press Philby, and here I want to see the Malcolm X speech, and and here I am. So I press begin. And here's Philby. And if we pan around, we're going to see, oh, there's the Cotton Club, how it used to look back in its heyday. If I go around, oh, there's Lenox Lounge, famous jazz club. And, oh, there's Malcolm X speaking back in the 1960s. Okay, let's go look at what they look like a little bit better. World famous Cotton Club. Recently demolished Lenox Lounge, one of the coolest jazz clubs ever. Feel like I can just walk in. There's the inside. Maybe we'll go get a drink. Now let's go see what Malcolm is talking about. Well, he's speaking to a crowd of people, and I'm just gonna stand back here and mingle in with the crowd and see what he has to say. I gotta look up above the people. And that is Philby, an app to bring back history for your tour of wherever you want to go.
Awesome, round of applause for Doug.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Doug, you
Ooh.
can take it away.
Okay, so I just want to start with the genesis of the project. I've been living in New York. I mean, I didn't grow up here, but I grew up near here. I've been coming here since the 70s. And I remember what New York used to be like, and what it was like before corporations, what it was like when it was grittier. And I've lived here straight for probably 20 plus years, maybe almost 25 years now. And a lot of my favorite places have gone away. One of them being, I guess the biggest one, and probably the one that was the real impetus for this project, was the loss of CBGB's. CBGB's was a punk rock club in the East Village, and now it's, you like that, Cash? Have you ever been there? It's a fucking clothing store now. So depressing. And you know, when people come to visit, you want to show them around, but you know, if you say you go to CGB, CGB, if you go to CB's, you know, you say, well, this is where it was, and it's awfully depressing to show. So I thought, well, I'm going to use my 3D skills. I've been a 3D artist for 20 plus years now, and with the really, I guess, like Pokemon Go, with the power of that, I just somehow it came to me, I should combine these two elements to create historical tours, AR tours of New York City. And that's where this came from. I live on Lenox Avenue in Harlem. And actually, I'm like the second wave of gentrifier here. There were people before us, you know, my color. But I've seen it change from empty lots to a lot of new buildings. And the Lenox Lounge is actually one of the biggest ones. It was a great club when I first moved here. And now it's a Wells Fargo bank. And it's really just a shame that a place that used to be such a landmark of Harlem is gone. So, you know, looking into it, you know, trying to figure out how to do it, augmented reality. I looked at CircuitStream, Unity. I should say I looked at Unity. I found CircuitStream. Seemed like a way to do it. And that's where I've been going. So I've been making the models in Maya. I've been bringing them into Unity. I've been working on scripting. And I'm at the point where it's almost there. Now, what I really plan on doing for this is to show the recreations at the spot where they happened. The only reason that we have 3 recreations on the same block is it's a block away from me. I'm not going to hoof it all the way to 141st Street just to make sure that my longitude and latitude is correct, and I could just do it across the street. But for the next month or so, I'm still working on my one-on-ones, is I'm really hoping to animate Malcolm and use a speech that he gave in Harlem in 1963, 2 blocks south. And then I've got a couple more recreations to do. But I want the map to be interactive, so you could track you, and it tells you when you're getting close to your recreation to put your phone up, and you can see the recreation. And hopefully you'll see New York City as a more, I don't want to say authentic, but a real historical, you'll see the history of it as opposed to the supermarkets, the banks, the clothing stores. So that's it, pretty much. Thanks. And I'm actually hoping to, I think it's going to be at a state probably in a month or so where I can actually start to maybe put it on the Google App Store, and maybe start trying to raise some money to make a whole New York City app. So I'm thinking much bigger than just Lenox Avenue, and actually a little bit bigger than New York City, but one thing at a time. Malcolm has to start speaking first. That's it.
Great.
Nice, Doug.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Do you want to answer questions and gather some feedback right now?
Yeah, I'll say Brent asks, is there a AR GPS plugin? And yes, I found it on the Unity store. And let me find the name for you. Hold on. I think it's just called Unity AR plus GPS location. Here is the website, and it's coded by a guy in Brazil, not named Jerry. And that's where I got it from. It was like 79 bucks. And I think Jerry, I think you said that this all could be done in Unity if I knew how to code myself, but I'm more of a 3D person, not a coder, and this makes it a lot easier for a person like me to save myself hours and hours of programming. 39 bucks? Well, I bought it for 79.
Just to comment on that, that's a really smart decision, actually. Like, this is what we get with experience. We learn where we should put our effort and where we should not. So it's totally okay to buy assets and to integrate them into your projects to accelerate things. We do that all of the time, even in the industry. Like, we don't do everything from scratch. But it's really important to know what's going on behind there, because you're going to have problems. So once you're done, like you dominate the technology, you can just use you can evaluate like whether your time is more worth or just the money. So you can buy lots of things. And I encourage lots of students to buy assets when they can afford them. But yeah, it's a mix of things. This is one skill that we gain, like analyze the situation and understand where we should buy something or develop them from scratch. So yeah, it's always possible to do all of those things in Unity if your focus is learning how to deal with GPS coordinates and all of those stuff. But if you're if that's not your main goal, that's no reason to recreate something that already exists, especially if it's not too expensive. So that's a good call.
I'd like to answer Joe's question. Joe, just so you know, there's a restaurant named Satikani about 5 blocks up, so it's a good name. Yes, there will be a note. Oh, you know it? There will be, you can't really see it. If you look at the video, it's in the how it works. But there is, when the recreation is happening, there is a more info button that'll go on the bottom. Yeah, it's the far right one. So what you can do is you can click on more info and it'll give you historical context of what you're seeing. So, you know, why really, who cares about Lennox Lounge if you don't know about it? Who cares about this speech? Who cares about, you know, I'm actually really excited to do reclamation site #1 because doing research on Lenox Avenue, that was back in 1969, I think. The locals took over the block and prevented the government from coming in, and I think using eminent domain to build a state building. And it was pretty crazy. And I'm dying to do that one. But, and so, yes, there will be historical context that you could read to know really why you're looking at this event. Let me see.
Maybe
Yes.
like just like a minute left.
No problem. It would be very cool. I think that this app is an app that could be used in any city in the world. You know, I've been to Italy a bunch of times, and I think that, you know, if we can just start with something like the Colosseum. For any of you who've been to the Colosseum, it's a falling apart building, and wouldn't it be great to just have a whole tour of seeing lions and gladiator fights and, you know, whatever else that they offer there. You know, it's, this is it. It's very expandable to other countries. I've heard a few people talk about Boston. There's something called the Freedom Trail. And it's really, it's a bunch of office buildings. It wouldn't be great to see the, you know, the rebels fighting the redcoats. So that's it.
That's great, Doug. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Thank
I think, yeah, this can grow to be worldwide for sure. And we can talk more at the end as well. We'll have more time for discussion. So if you still have questions for Doug, hold on to them. We can chat more later. All right. So next we have Pierre. I'm going to share the video here, and then he'll be able to talk a little bit more about it.
We are building a room-scale VR puzzle game. A series of rooms are anchored on developing structure. Each room is a puzzle that needs to be solved to access the next room. To solve the puzzle, the player can grab available pieces such as horizontal and vertical beams to form the architectural elements needed to complete each side of the room. Each element will snap once placed in the right position on a canvas to form a column here, a window there, or an arch. Once the room is solved, the player is able to teleport to an adjacent room. Rooms are grouped in bunches of 5 to 8. Once the bunch of rooms is solved, the player has access to a larger space in the middle of the vast structure. The overall aim is to complete each bunch of rooms, which will reveal the agora where all the players will be able to meet and discover new multi-users puzzles.
And sorry, I forgot to mention the title. So that's the Meta Puzzle Room Scale VR game. A round of applause for Pierre. Amazing. Go ahead, Pierre.
So shall I share my screen then?
Yes.
It's gonna be. Does that work? You see that?
No, let me stop sharing mine just in case. There. Now
Yeah, you see
I can see it. Yes.
Work in progress. Great. So yes. So where all this is coming from? So it's actually a project that's ongoing for a while now. Well, first thing to say is I'm working on this with my good old friend and colleague Ertu, who is another architect, and he's very proficient working with Rhino 3D. So this is obviously a typical shape that you can do with Rhino. For those who knows, more than with 3D Max. My software is more 3D Max. But yeah, so this is actually the original idea from this is coming from my PhD and the research I was doing here in Goldsmiths, where I was really the main core of my research was to find a way to evaluate the effect of spatial qualities such as openness and complexity of the space on people performing tasks in VR. And obviously one task would be to solve a puzzle. So we know that, I mean, VR is being used now for training and there are a lot of research to see how we can use virtual reality for learning as well. But all these activities has to happen in some kind of space. And as in the real life, every space has an effect on the way we live in. Small space, bigger space, all that has some effect, and it's usually kind of under-evaluate. So that's what I was focused on. And then I was running this experiment with a lot of participants, and actually all the participants were really enjoying it. I'm just going to show you a quick video here of how it was 2 years ago, because it was already developed a couple of years back. Can I put that full screen? It's behind. So there we go. So that was the state of the app 3 years ago, and then that was made with Vive and the old input system. And I kind of took the time to redeveloped this whole app now for the Oculus Quest with the XR interaction toolkit. So I'll come back to that. But so yeah, the idea was that people has to find a piece of the puzzle around the room, and then they have to grab all the pieces and put them back on the table to solve the puzzle. And I was collecting their movement data. So as soon as they were putting the red cube in the U shape there, then I'm collecting their movement data, and then I was able to run some really clever algorithm behind to evaluate the effect of different rooms with different spatial qualities on the way they were performing the task. So there we go, and then they have to solve the puzzle there. So don't need to watch the whole thing, but that gives you an idea. And so yeah, so far everybody was really enjoying and say, oh, you should make a game. So there we go. I decided let's try to see if I can create a full game out of this. And then the first thing you do when you want to create a new project is see what's other people have done around. So just two quick main reference. This is, I don't know for who knows about this, but the Full Errands was kind of a big hit in the 80s. A good old game in 2Ds, and actually it was a bit of a crazy one because there was a lot of different sort of puzzle games, but you can see already the kind of Tetris shape there on the side. But then there was a whole storyline around with tarot cards and a lot of things happening and writing. And then a very recent game which I very like very much is Cubism. Well, I don't have to play the video, but I encourage everyone to play that game. It's really well polished, and it's not a room scale VR. It's just a very big Rubik's cube or blur puzzle, if you want, where you have to assemble the piece together in 3D. It's really well produced and developed. So have a look into that. But so then obviously we are architects. So do we really want to just play with blocks and Tetris block? Maybe we can do more than that. So we start to look to do some sketch. Obviously, that's what we do, architect. And then we start to do some concept design. And then my friend Ertu went crazy using all the script you can imagine in Rhino. I just don't stay too long on these. But yeah, we can create all sorts of shapes. But then we said, okay, we need to find kind of a structure that we can use to support the development of the game. And all this took us on a discussion about, well, there was two main discussion actually. One is the difference between space and object. And actually, if you look in cognitive science, there is a big difference in representation of object versus space. So it's very different to manipulate object than manipulate the space around you. And then the other question we were really wondering is, do we need to create a real story, or can we just take people around space and bring them along with the satisfaction of just solving a puzzle? So that's the two big questions we are still pondering around, but we still have to keep going. So we decide to focus on the gameplay, and at this stage we have kind of 3 levels. The first one is you arrive in the game and you have this structure as a small object that you can manipulate, and it's kind of level manager. So you're gonna be able to zoom in to see what the rooms you already solved, or maybe you can click on the next room you want to go to. Then you would just grab that room, and actually you would just spawn in the room in level 2, and you would be inside the room like you've seen in the video. And then you would have to solve the space around you in the same way, and only when you solve the puzzle you would reach you would have access to the next room, and so forth. And then the whole aim is actually to solve all those rooms, which gonna reveal the main space in the middle. And we decide, okay, maybe we forgot we're not storyteller right now, we're just space maker, so we're just going to focus on create space and inspire people with fantastic space or crazy spaces we can come up with. So yeah, so that's the game. But then focusing on a frustrating challenge. I was expecting to go further than this, but yeah, coming back to this XR interaction toolkit, I found that actually we had to really go backwards in a sense, because it didn't allow me to do the manipulation of the object I want to do. So I have a quick video to show you exactly what I mean here. For me, the way you manipulate objects is you grab them from wherever you want, and you can, manipulate the object. You don't snap your hand to the hammer, or you don't snap your hand to a door hinge. So that was a bit tricky to. And actually, we were still yesterday finding a new way to code that in Unity. And so the way we went about it is actually we're using both the old input manager and the new XR interaction toolkit, and we created with Usman our own grabbing script, putting the XR interaction grabbing on the side, and that's how we're going to go for the following step, which are. So the next step is actually to code the scaling. So the first thing will be to grab the structure, so we can zoom in and kind of understand what's happening in there. So we need to scale these objects, and then after that we need to go into completing the puzzle in a room, which would activate a series of other features, which is teleport into the next room, obviously keep track of player progress, and so each room solved should also appear in the structure from the scene 1 as the level manager, and then another interaction I want to set up is that at any point you want to leave a room, you should be able to touch this structure, for instance, for, I don't know, for 5 seconds, which would bring you back into this level manager. So that's a few, but yeah, they are. If you keep track of all the interaction we are thinking about, obviously there is quite a list. I think one of the key to be able to see how you go about this is really to define each interaction as accurately as you can, and I'm still working hard on that. And I still have a few sessions with Ozzy during the months of May, so hopefully we can make progress on this and get to something that could look like maybe an MVP. I would imagine that I can submit on Steam, or at some point trying to submit something on Oculus Store as well. So yeah, there we go. And yeah, please, any feedback and suggestion, question are very welcome. That's the only way we can progress faster. So all ears.
Nice, Pierre. That was awesome. It's great to see how much research you put into it, and all the work that goes into it. It's really cool. Maybe we can do about 1 or 2 minutes tops for questions and feedback, so we can go to Susan.
It's giving me a really strong Art Nouveau vibe that I'm really digging. Just kind of the swoopiness along with the cubism is really neat. That's it.
What? Sorry, what do you use a reference? What was the word?
Just the kind of Art Nouveau aesthetic. Just it feels kind of like this weird combination of dreamy fairy tale and the future, and that's super neat.
Okay, cool. Well, that sounds good to me.
I really like the art style as well, and this like the kind of spacey kind of surrealness of it, which to me screams like audio space as well, some kind of soundscape to go with it.
I need I'm really keen to find someone to work with on the sound. Yeah, definitely.
Collaborators, anybody? Pierre's looking for them.
Good guy.
And Joe has a question as well. Do you want me to read it out?
Yeah, I see. Me?
You said? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just reading here, Joe. What about the learning towards a social interaction? Yes, as puzzles are solved, you may compare with other users how they approach or thought process to the puzzle solution. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I think we're gonna start with a single user, but yeah, we can definitely see how we could bring this different user together, how they could compare what they're doing, and eventually try find a way where actually they need to work together to solve bigger rooms and things like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, let's wrap it up here so that we can go to Susan and then we can do more chatting afterwards. Damien is saying, looking forward to seeing something with Pierre-François, a free roaming interactive space too.
Free roaming sounds good.
Awesome. Another round of applause for Pierre. Thanks so much, Pierre. That was awesome. Really looking forward to seeing where it goes next. Right, so let me go back to sharing my screen here. All right, so next we have Susan St. John with Voice Beams.
I am not a graphic designer, just getting that out there.
I know what you're talking about. It looks awesome.
I was like, all the colors. I'm going to make a 1-4-5 chord progression in the key of C major. It doesn't go back to 1, leaves me hanging.
Crazy.
Amazing.
I'm not going to share my screen yet because I'm just going to talk through a few things first, and then I will show everyone a bit more about the UI because that's pretty much been my life over the last month and a half, basically after I finished the class. So the origins of this, I don't have tone color synesthesia myself, but my mom has a mild case of it, and I've heard about it throughout my life, and I've just found it fascinating, and I've kind of wanted to experience it for myself. This is very different from how she experiences it, but it was a little easier to implement. I have a background in technical theater. I am a very unemployed stagehand right now, due to a certain thing that's going on in the world. And I've done a lot of stuff with theatrical lighting. So I'm used to thinking in beams of light. And the idea came to me when I was full of insomnia. I had just tried a Vive for the first time. It was about 5 years ago. And I was like, so that feeling of a laser coming through my forehead when I'm singing, what if I could make that more tangible? And the idea wouldn't get out of my head, and no one else was doing it. So I was like, I guess I have to learn how to like do things. Anyway, so how it works basically is each tone of the 12-tone scale is assigned a color. They have as much distance between each semitone as I could get using the primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. So that's actually the spectrum that's going on behind this. This is the increments between each note. There was a story. It wasn't just me making something that clashes madly. The main beam, which can be assigned to either hand, reflects the color assigned to that note that is coming out of the microphone. Sorry, I just keep calling it the microphone. It's a stupid running joke with myself. And then the secondary beam is the most recently triggered reference tone. The orbs that the beams are coming out of are the Q note. So if I allow MIDI to start happening, this is the note that will come out. It's also the note that was above my right hand in the video, just because I don't actually have all the colors memorized. And then the overlap in between them is using some fancy stencil buffer stuff that I still don't quite understand, that gets the difference between the vocal pitch and the reference pitch. And then like unison is the same color as C. A minor second is the same color as C sharp, and it just kind of goes up from there. So the Nature Boy thing is primarily a demonstration of that, and also the opening with the let's get chromatic. And also the area light, at least in the live mode, is currently the tonic of the chord and the yeah. Anyway, so then there's the sequencer. So you can create chords. One hand, you can make larger semitone jumps of a fixed size, and the other hand, you can make a single semitone jump. So it's actually pretty easy to construct chords from there. I have it set to jump a major third, and then you can scooch it around to make not augmented chords all the time. And then the playback speed and number of repeats can be changed. And the secondary beam and stencil buffer are kind of working in that mode, but not fully yet. It's been a lot of me banging my head against my computer and frantically Googling things. A lot of my notions of how to approach the user interface have been, I am a left-handed human, and I have been tremendously frustrated by a lot of UI design in VR games that just completely neglect that not everyone is right-handed, not everyone is tall. And eventually I want to get into things like not everyone can see color the same way, but that's a ways off. So I've made the UI so like you can switch which laser beam is active, just whatever, it doesn't care. You can change which hand the primary beam is coming out of. You can change which side the secondary menu is on. It's just kind of running frustrations that I'm like, I want to see what I can do with this. And I have colliders on all the menus, and I'm just using the Valve VR Open XR laser beams, and it's like, oh, it's a trigger. I'm using an open source autocorrelation for pitch recognition, which is essentially just a generic auto-tune. It's auto-tune in reverse. I'm using a plugin that I got from the Unity Asset Store, Audio Helm, For all of the MIDI stuff, I want to have it have different reference tones. I chose that one just because it's got lots of overtones and it's satisfying to sing against. And currently it is for PC VR only. I haven't tried it on Oculus in just like anchored to a PC mode, only on Steam, but since Steam is pretty hardware agnostic, I'm kind of okay with it being that way in the short term. And uses that I see for it are music education, because my sense of pitch has gotten better even as I've been working on developing this thing. Some sort of game, like floating orbs come by and you shoot your beam at it and you match the color, and then over time you come to associate the colors very strongly, because true pitch can be trained. Not perfect pitch, but true pitch. It's different. And just kind of a general purpose singer toy, because I have found exactly one other singer toy that is worth anything in VR. Sound Self. It's kind of entertaining. It's like singing into a music visualizer on a 2003 version of iTunes. It's kind of mesmerizing. It's supposedly a meditation tool. I don't use it like that. So yeah, I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to start my screen. I have to change over my audio stuff. How much time do I have?
Maybe like 2 minutes, like a minute.
Okay, in that case, never mind. If anyone wants to see it, just hit me up and I will be happy to demonstrate it. I kind of, yeah, it'll take
Do you
me a
want
moment
to
to
skim through it really, just like do like a
yeah,
quick
here, I'm gonna have to, one sec.
cue elevator music. Do, 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 do.
Have to find my audio settings. Do, 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 do.
This
Can you-
project made me think of that piano learning.
Yeah,
the
it's
visual piano learner app.
yeah, it's kind of like that. I've had a lot of difficulty learning music theory for various reasons, and I kind of wanted to just recontextualize all the things. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, and then start up the thing, and then yeah.
Okay, we can see it.
Cool. My computer is a mess. Don't mind me. Come on, come here. Oh no, that's not. Sorry. Ugh.
And what we can do too, I mean, it will have
Okay, there it goes.
Yeah, we should be fine.
Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I have to go out into my tracked space because that's how my room is set up. So basically I've got this, I'm out in space. I'm using the Valve VR fancy fingers because they're fun. So you can just turn the UI off, or no, right. So here you can control how large the semitone jump is, how many times it repeats, how fast it's playing. There's no percussion, so it's kind of, I can fix that at some point. And then volume of the reference tones. Over here, so if I'm say, do 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 do. Okay, cool, it's working. So say I want to make a chord. So I save it that way. If I didn't like what I was doing, I would clear it and it wouldn't be added to that. Frequency Q note just turns that off and on. Disable beams is pretty self-explanatory. And then if I play progression, it does that. So yeah. And I can clear the progression, still having some issues with that, but it's been a thing. So yeah, just a quick demo. This is the lovely freebie Milky Way skybox that I got off the asset store. But yeah, yeah, it's a thing.
It looks great. It looks awesome. Do you want me to read out any questions
Yeah,
while
sure.
you're there?
Sure.
All right, maybe we'll do like maybe a minute of questions and then we'll open it up to discussion. Any questions or comments?
Actually, I can wander over
So it looks like. Okay, so Jerry's asking, super cool. When are you planning to publish it? He wants to try it out.
So I will be happy to let you test it. I'm not publishing it yet. I want to figure out some more concrete direction to take it. Anyone who wants to email me, this is the first time that I've ever made any sort of software whatsoever. So I'm just kind of like, what do I send you? I need to send you the things. It'll be a little rough. I'm not sure how to include controller bindings. I've been working with this lovely piece of kit that I understand is a rare piece of kit. So I will have some sort of bindings for the Quest because I obviously have one. But the audio just isn't as nice. So, but yeah, anyone who wants to give it a try, hit me up. I want to see how it runs on other people's computers. It is PC VR only at this point. It is not standalone on the Quest.
Awesome. Kristen is saying, I have zero musical understanding, but it looks cool.
That's the thing. I want to make something that for people who are experienced singers, it's like, oh, this is neat. I can interact with my voice in a new way that I'm not used to. Super cool. But at the same time, I want to make something that is a way for people who don't have a musical background to kind of intuitively start to pick up some music theory instead of, this is such and such interval. This is what it looks like in notation, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah. Ha, ha, ha. And yeah, just kind of finding the sweet spot of what I want to do with it, because I have a vocal background. I'm coming at it from there. But and I also need to figure out some sort of tutorial. So it's like, this is what's actually happening. It's not just arbitrary pretty colors. If you want to play with it as arbitrary pretty colors, more power to you. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life.
Yeah, that would be super useful. George is asking, super cool. Came close to doing a related musical visualizer concept as well for my final project. Any way to try it out?
Yeah, again, email me, and it may be a little rocky at first getting the files to people, but I'll probably just put it on GitHub and call it good, and then be like, so you have to get into the controller binding settings. I'm sorry in advance.
And we'll post your email here. So everybody, I know that technically we're supposed to finish demo day right now. So if you have to head out, no worries. For those of you that can stick around, that'd be great, because then we're just going to go into some discussion now. But so we just have a couple more questions here. Do you want to, what's your email, Susan?
It is Susan St. John, just Susan the boring way, STJOHN @gmail.
Okay, there. So it's in the chat.
Cool. And I'm going to switch back over to the less uncomfortable way of talking to you guys, because this is ridiculous. One moment.
Well, do you want me to continue reading out the questions? Is that
yeah, sure.
All right. So, all right. And then Brent is asking, what was the Nature Boy tune you were singing?
I have a background of being a half-assed jazz singer, and it's one of the jazz standards that I don't have an allergy to.
Nice. You should do like a jam session with Ozzy.
Oh yeah, that would be bitchin'.
Yeah.
I also, one of the directions that I've been thinking about taking it is having it be possible to record audio and positional data and then share that with other users and overdub additional like harmonies and whatnot.
Awesome.
And since it would work for any acoustic source, any acoustic monophonic source, I don't know, have a trumpet player. Huh?
And Will is asking, how was your experience using Audio Helm?
It was a little odd at first. I am a very novice coder, full disclosure. So that definitely affected how it worked, and I had to learn a lot more about MIDI in general because I've always used it for kind of more typical purposes, and I had to actually get into, okay, here's what I'm actually controlling here. I'm not just poking a key on a keyboard. But I really like the synthesizer that's built into it, even though I couldn't get access to the custom patches that I made in Unity for some reason. That was a couple days of just yelling. But yeah, it's a pretty useful program or plugin, and you can script the hell out of basically any aspect of it. It has a lot of depth to it.
Nice. Yeah, Will is saying it seems really useful, just a steep learning curve.
Yeah, it was not easy to pick up initially, but it was also the original version of it involved I made 12 samples of a drone that were just wave files, and that was terrible because it was a single octave and it was awful. So MIDI was kind of the reasonable solution.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, so Charles has a question for Pierre. So maybe what we can do, we'll pause it right there. Thank you so much to Susan. A round of applause to Susan for her awesome project. And thanks for jumping in, after doing your course in January. And then on that note as well, I'd like to just invite everybody to give another round of applause for all of our students. If you can unmute just so they can hear your clap.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good job.
And then now we can, go to discussion. So maybe what we could do this two ways. You can either send the question in the chat and then I'll read it, or you can just send your name in the chat and then I'll say you can go, and then you can unmute and just ask your question live. All right, so maybe we can start with Charles. So to Pierre, I'm very keen to help out with sound design. And to Susan, absolutely love your app too. Can you imagine your app working with multiple user singers at some point? Maybe Pierre and Susan can answer.
Pierre first, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just replying. Really cool to hear, Charles. And I was wondering if you were on Slack, but tell me what are you, what you do, and how can you help?
All right. Hi, Pierre. So I've kind of been in and out of the demo day because things are going on over here. So I'm a composer and producer, and so I think I just want to get to know your app a little bit better, and have a discussion with you about how maybe I could contribute in some way, because there seems to be other sound designers here. So maybe it doesn't just have to be one person. And so yeah, so maybe we could continue our discussion in Slack or on some video call, and so we can see if maybe I can bring something to the table.
Yeah, that's super cool to hear.
Make like a thread in Slack that's like on some public channel, because I'd be interested as well.
Yeah, so there's a channel that's for music. So
Yep,
maybe
absolutely.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I was gonna suggest that. I wasn't sure if everyone was on. Cool.
But yeah, I absolutely love the app. So it'd be incredible to work on the sound side of it.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm just looking at the Slack, and you say, whoa, am I missing something on the?
I'll send it to you, Pierre.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But yeah, no, I'm happy to have a conversation there, and yeah, I'll share a bit more what we are up to. Definitely to get more progress, but I know, sounds can be it's a whole parallel world. So I'm sure we can already have some discussion and see how we can progress there. So yeah, great.
Looking forward to it.
That the collabs channel would be great for this as well. Yes, the collabs is, if you're looking for different types of collaborators, you could post it in both channels even and see,
Yeah,
so.
no, sounds good.
This is what I was hoping for all along. This is awesome. Great. All right, so maybe we can go over to Susan now.
So yeah, the multiplayer aspect of it is definitely something that I want to develop over time. It's a bit beyond the scope of what I already know, but then again, I didn't know any of this when I first started this process, so I'll get there. I like the idea of being able to share chord progressions. I want to be able to edit chord progressions outside of VR because it's a little tedious. And then be able to share them and then have someone sing on it and save it and then be like, hey, I want to add something to this. And I don't want it to be a destructive addition because I have a history with internet karaoke and I spent a good 3 hours doing 4-part harmonies on Here Comes the Sun, and someone came by and just went like moo the whole time, and I was furious. So I don't want to have that. I want it to save all of the intermediate points, so that the creator has some control and also so that the collaborations can branch. That's kind of the main direction that I'm thinking of going multiplayer wise. It would have to be asynchronous because of just lag. It's a thing, and trying to sing at the same time with someone on the internet, as much as I've tried and say multiplayer synth writers, does not work at all. So it's going to be a just like save something, share it, see what mutations occur.
Yeah, that's a big challenge, isn't it? To synchronize voice in VR.
I mean, even just the latency within my own system, like I wanted to have a nice like headphone mix sort of situation, and it was like, no, you get 50 milliseconds delay, and I'm like, so it's a lot of things like that. Just we live in the future, but not that far in the future.
Oh, it'd be a ton of fun to collaborate with someone else in your app. So I think down the line that would be pretty incredible.
Oh yeah, I've done a lot of internet-based, fairly serious music collaborations, and I think it would be a really fun take on that.
And in the meantime, I'll definitely use it to work on my pitch. Need some help?
Oh yeah, I would be very happy to share it. I think I'm gonna just try to figure out how to share it on GitHub, and then anyone who emails me, I'll give you a link.
Oh, great.
You want to share it on Slack as well?
Yeah, I'll share a link to, yeah.
Great, awesome.
It's really good for getting good at singing tritones. I've gotten to be a tritone ninja. I'm just like, do, do. Oh, cool.
But you do need a headset to try it out, right?
Yes, it is PC VR only. I've only tested it within Steam, though with Oculus hardware as well.
Yeah, if I had one, I'd love to try it out.
Yeah, what a pity. What a pity. I'd be your ultimate tester. But not yet.
Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe who knows? Soon. Who knows?
It'll be available for all headsets.
Problem, but I can just build it for Macs, you know, and then test it. And because, but I have never touched the music part yet in VR on purpose, because I think if I touch the music part already, it's just too much. But no, it's amazing, and I mean, I know now what is behind, and especially when it comes to sound, there's almost nothing, right? When you look it up. Like, I mean, I have one picture. Do you have like the analog music app in virtual reality? But beside this, so for this, I mean, it's amazing what you did. Really.
Thank you. It means a lot because this is literally the first bit of software I've ever made.
Yeah, congratulations, Egg. Really.
Did you look? I mean, how is there a lot of app for creating sound in VR? I don't think there is, isn't it?
There are a few. Really? Most of them are virtual instruments, and I don't find the inputs to be responsive enough for it to be particularly satisfying.
There is a DJ. I know there is a DJ VR
that one's
app
fun. I was playing with it. It's
Okay.
entertaining. It's actually pretty precise and polished, and yeah, it's super fun. I just started going through my MP3 collection. I was streaming it, and then it turned into karaoke night because
Oh my
This
gosh,
all
so
good.
have to use things wrong.
Yeah, I think there is a lot we can do, a lot more we can do with sound. I mean, I'm not a sound person. I'm very visual, but it's such a big part of VR. I mean, we have the visual and we have the sound, so there is so much we can do with sound.
And positional audio and so many cool things.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm playing a lot with VR app like Mozilla Hubs, and one of the big thing is that you have the spatial sound, so you can have many conversations in the same space together.
Yeah.
And it's such a natural way of interacting with people.
And with the frequency, you can manipulate the ambience.
Yeah.
In a positive way. But I listen to frequency music only, like to like binaural beats or whatever, and whatever you want, like happiness or healing. Like you had 317. It's like, I don't know if it changes while you're singing. I couldn't see it. Might be, I don't know, but the frequency, it was 370. Yeah. So, like, but if you see it on the, like, for example, when we come to your labyrinth, maybe the first scene, daytime, just imagine, or restate your scene. So nighttime, space, and then you put like a calming frequency, which makes you focus, and maybe like a little happiness. You know, I don't know what's possible there. I'm just imagining. But combining the frequency with the scene and the VR makes you actually feel the music instead of only hearing it, even more than we were able before, right?
So an idea with that, what if you had sound sources within each space that were spatial, and as you moved around the space, the sensation of interference patterns would change as you moved?
Or if you get closer to the solution of the puzzle, more happiness frequency, and if you get far away, more like focus, because you're far away, you know, like depending on the mental state inside the puzzle, maybe you can
a whole world to explore. That's for sure.
Oh.
Yeah. That sounds great. I'm looking forward to the discussion in the collab with sound designer and sound people.
Yeah, maybe what we can do next, I mean, feel free to hang around for a bit longer, but maybe what we can do next is, yeah, definitely continue these conversations on Slack. I know Damon has, yes. Okay, you guys are talking already.
Yes, actually, on that, I was trying a Tesla suit yesterday.
Jealous.
Yeah, just the top of it. It took a while to work because I think it works like you need some moisture to make it work. So at the beginning, I didn't feel anything, but yeah, then once it picks up, you can really have sensation everywhere. So yeah, that's obviously visual sound, and then if you have some haptic on top, you kind of each time increase the immersiveness, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be awesome to be able to feel like the different vibrations, or right, according to the color.
Feel the sound coming from different directions.
Oh, I have another question for Susan. Susan, is it the right name? Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sorry, I thought I misread. To the colors, when you said like every tune have a different color.
Yeah, every pitch of the.
Wait, the question is, did you like choose it, or was it based on the research? Because I read that like when you can't see, there's a way of feeling the color, or like I don't know the different ways. So did you just choose the color and you say C#, I choose yellow, or did you like, is it based on some existing system?
So it just felt right to have C be red. That was pretty arbitrary. And then from there, I wanted to have the largest shifts possible between sequential notes. So I did some silliness going through primary, secondary, tertiary colors according to the circle of fifths, which was giving me good spacing. I tweaked it a little further so it wasn't like sequential greens. And they're very simple colors. I wanted them to pop out really brightly, so that when they're combined with each other in between notes, they look a lot more dull. And then when you hit the true pitch, it's like,
Yeah, I love it.
eventually maybe some.
I really like the bright colors, and this is it's good. No, I just was, but and you said you don't like music theory, so it's not based like you just chose it by emotion, the color to tune.
I'm kind of obsessed with music theory, but I'm also bad at it.
Okay, now I got you. Okay. Yeah, no, interesting, great.
Jerry knows the feeling.
And,
maybe once
love
this
to follow.
Oh, sorry. Maybe once the app is developed, we could do like a Circuit Stream karaoke night.
Yes. And we are. No, not yet.
Always. Yes. Who's got the beer?
Awesome. Yes. Cash on drums. Ozzy as well. Well, cool. It's already 20 past, everyone. So maybe unless anybody has any sort of urgent questions or comments, maybe we could start wrapping things up. Thanks so much to everybody for coming, and to the 3 students for being the guinea pigs for this first demo day. You guys did amazing. Yeah, let me put some. Yay, congrats.
Thanks, guys.
Let's continue discussions on Slack, and then if we definitely love to hear more about your projects, we'll be doing more demo days. So if there's a big jump and you want to bring back an aspect of your project, definitely do that. Just let me know whenever you're interested in doing that. And that's it. I hope everybody has a good rest of your day. And I guess for Pierre, go have dinner, go relax, enjoy the weekend.
Yes, thank you. Great.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.